Now you'll think twice.
Security terminal should be somewhere nearby. Look around.
Yo, where is this gas coming from though?
This big heavy guy. Yo, behind me.
Roll out his rotation. Where is it? Oh, he's on me. Stand right here. Got him?
Hey, what is going on, YouTube family? It's 𝒊𝒏 back from Identity on the very first day of TU10 with a fresh, brand new build just for you with a few new gear pieces and talents. This build is here and ready for you to farm today, so let's get it. Before we get started, I'd appreciate it if you drop a like on this video so we can get it out there as much as possible. And if you haven't subscribed yet, don't hesitate. I'm sure you'll love it here. My channel consists of builds, guides, and gameplay, all of which I try to stay true to with the information I bring. Hunter, what is that, really? One that stalks its prey, and when that opportunity presents itself, rarely misses its mark. A hunter is also prepared for anything that comes its way. So if you want to test your luck, then go ahead. I promise you'll regret it, because this build is both defensively and offensively capable of handling business, but only achievable through this brand new talent Massive has blessed us with for TU10. Now, I've suffered long enough trying to hold back showing you this build, but no more. We're going to get into this right now. What is going on, y'all? This is my very first build for the TU10 patch, and let me tell you something. There was one new brand set that they added, and I was literally trying to figure out how to make this work before this patch. And this brand set that they came out with was like the final piece of the puzzle for me. It is crazy, and you're about to see right now. Alright, so the specialization I'm going with is Firewall. Now, I made a shotgun build previously, and it was called Ninja. It was basically the counter to the True Patriot Pestilence meta, because it hit so hard, that much damage all at once was too much for anybody with that slow of a fire rate to handle. So it's a great build. Go check it out if you haven't yet. It's called Ninja. But this one, I wanted to make it a variation of that. You can, and I'm going to show you in the build, but it's more beneficial if you do it this way. Okay, so Firewall has so many good perks when it comes to a survival damage build, and especially for shotguns, because you need to be close up on people when you're using shotguns, and when you lose your armor, you set the enemy on fire. And this is actually a buff for this, because now that the holster is nerfed, I think I might be the only one that'll be setting people on fire more. With the new dragon holster, you have to actually be aiming at the person for the first 3 seconds. The primary weapon I'm going with is the Black Market RPK. I've always wanted to find a way to incorporate this in a build, and I think I finally found the perfect way to do that. So you want to make sure you have damage to armor on here. It came with 15% LMG damage, and I wish this was higher, but you know, keep farming, you'll get that god roll piece. Now, the reason why this works good with Frenzy is because this activates after you empty your clip, so you don't want a huge clip while using this, which is why this is so perfect. So you can do it 2 ways. You can have it with the reload speed magazine, or you could have it with the extra 20 rounds. If you do that, the extra 20 rounds will give you 65 in the magazine, but if you put the reload magazine in there, it'll give you 45 rounds, and you'll activate Frenzy more. It just depends on how you want to do it. I like to have the extra 20 rounds, especially when dealing with heavies. So with Frenzy, for every 10 bullets in the magazine capacity, you gain 3% rate of fire and 3% weapon damage for 5 seconds after reloading from empty. So because this has 65 rounds, this is going to give me almost 20% extra damage and almost 20% rate of fire after I reload from empty. This is a great talent to have with this specific LMG. Okay, the Sweet Dreams. Last time I had the Lullaby, it was the same weapon, but it was just a different skin. I don't know which one I like. Both of them look sweet to me, right? Now, the Sweet Dreams doesn't come with any critical hit chance or critical hit damage mods. But it does come with some crazy optimal range and good accuracy. So I don't know why, but this weapon just in general hits really hard, and I don't like to use any other shotgun when it comes to this. It's a �SPAS-12, which is an amazing archetype of shotguns because the regular �SPAS-12 doesn't even allow you to have attachments. That's why this is really considered an exotic, because you can't even add any attachment but one on the normal Sweet Dreams. This came with a whopping 12% damage to armor and 10% damage to targets out of cover, and these are both multiplicative. I'm sure a lot of you know what this does, but for those of you who don't, when you melee any enemy that's non-elite, it instantly kills them. So as I said before, this will be a great weapon if you could do damage with it while you're firing and have this exotic talent. This pistol, it really doesn't matter what pistol you use. I'm not even using the pistol honestly, but it does have this cool talent that's also on ARs and other weapons. In sync, hitting an enemy grants 15% skill damage for 5 seconds, and using a skill or damaging an enemy with a skill grants 15% for 5 seconds. And it's not even done yet. Damage increases are doubled while both buffs are active at the same time. Now you know I got some build ideas for this talent, but let's not get into that right now. On to the build. Alright, for the mask, I'm running a 𝐁𝐞𝐜𝐴, and that's specifically for the fact that with the one piece, it gives you a whole 10% critical hit chance. I mean, that's pretty much necessary when you're trying to increase your damage and get more crit. What other piece gives you this? So the 𝐁𝐞𝐜𝐴 mask is perfect for this build, especially since the Sweet Dreams doesn't come with any weapon attachments that allow for crit chance or crit damage. And all my pieces, make sure you have rolled critical hit chance and critical hit damage. The chest piece. Alright, y'all. This is the reason why I'm standing in front of these hunter masks, because this chest piece is called Hunter Killer. There's only one way you can get this. The brand set is Golan gear, which gives you 10% status effects. You're not really going to be using that, but it has perfect intimidate, which amplifies your damage by 40% when you're within 10 meters of an enemy. And I always say, when you see amplifies, that means it is multiplicative. So you got the damage to armor, you got damage to targets out of cover, and you have perfect intimidate. 40% damage is more than versatile, and you don't have to do anything but be within 10 meters of the enemy, which is perfect for a shotgun build because that's where you're always going to be. Within 10 meters. I was only able to get 6% critical hit chance on here because it came with 2 stats that didn't have either. So the only way you're able to get this chest piece is by killing all the hunters that came with the Warlords of New York expansion, because each one of them give you a key that you can use to unlock this chest that's in this area where I'm standing right here. That chest gives you 2 things. It gives you the all black skin, and I'm not talking about the black skin where when you put it on a Fenris chest piece you can still see the green. It just looks tacky. No, I'm talking about a sick black skin that just makes everything all black. It's off the chain, man. Y'all got let me show you right now. Take it off. And this is how it looks, right? So the all black skin, it's not all black. You see that little gray right there? But no, this one is literally all black. And when you mix this with the all blue or the red, it just looks really sweet. So that's the first thing the chest gives you. The second thing the chest gives you is a RNG Hunter Killer, Perfect Intimidate. The guy that I followed to get this chest piece was made by Nothing But Skills. I'm sure you guys know of him. He's been around for a long time and he has great content. So if you want to find out how to get all the hunters in detail, that's a good video to follow. Here's a link. The holster. This is the brand set I was telling you about that just came out and was able to fit into this build like the last piece of the puzzle. It's called Walker Harrison Company. The brand set's talents are straightforward. 5% weapon damage, 5% damage to armor, and 5% damage to health. Now you're only going to need to use damage to armor and weapon damage. And it's crazy because this does more damage than my ninja build because the damage to armor is more. And you get an extra 10% weapon damage from Hunter Killer's Perfect Intimidate, which is 40% instead of Versatile's 35%, and this weapon damage from the Walker Harrison Company. So on this holster, all you want is critical hit chance, critical hit damage. The backpack. All right. This is what makes this build all come together, y'all. All right. This is a brand new talent. Okay. It's called Perfect Adrenaline Rush. Whenever you are within 10 meters of an enemy, you gain 23% bonus armor for 5 seconds. This stacks up to 3 times. So you see this little logo pop up 3 times when you're within 10 meters of an enemy. So you get almost 70% bonus armor. But when you're fighting, that bonus armor is going to go down because you're getting hit. But still, this thing coincides with Perfect Intimidate so well. I mean, you guys don't know how much I was trying to figure out how to make Perfect Intimidate work. I was using system corruption, and I didn't like it because of the survivability wasn't really there. I couldn't use a med kit. I was trying to use it with leadership, and the bonus armor wasn't good enough, and it just wasn't worth doing a cover to cover to get bonus armor. I tried so many things to make this work, but this right here, it's like the devs read my mind. So you could just run up on somebody, get the bonus armor, and get 40% damage with your shotgun, multiplicative. Plus you got the added bonus of the damage to armor, right? So remember, roll critical hit chance, critical hit damage on here. The gloves are contractor's gloves, which is for the LMG's damage plus the damage to armor you get. So let's add this up, y'all. You get 8% damage to armor from the contractor's gloves. You get 5% from Harris & Company. You get another 12% from the Sweet Dreams. Yo, that is 25% damage to armor, multiplicative. That is crazy. So this is completely viable in PvP and PvE. I mean, if my ninja build was hitting like that, can you imagine how this hits in PvP? I mean, this is PvE certified, of course. This is one of those builds where you can just play based on what type of style you have, which is a shotgun style, and that alone will cater to its play style. The knee pads. This is what I was talking about when I said you can switch between the style. If you want to run a Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, you can, right? But I think that it's okay to reload in this one. And I want a Ninja to kind of be its own style, its own build. So that's that, and this is this, right? And if you use the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, you won't be able to have the 10% from the Badger Tufts damage. And so I decided to go with this. I'm sitting at 1 million armor because both of these pieces, the knee pads and the chest piece, come as an armor core, and 1 million armor is really good when you're dealing out so much damage. For the skills, I'm using the Decoy, and this is really good when you just want to be on the move and kind of fool the enemies so they won't really know where you're at. I mean, personally, I think they should do something else with this Decoy. I think that like at tier 1 it should just sit there like it does. For tier 2, maybe it should, you know, fire a few rounds, but just for the sound. For tier 3, maybe it should move a little bit. Tier 4, you know, add different perks to it as you get up in tiers, because it literally does nothing but sits here for each tier. It doesn't even matter. I mean, what is threat? So I honestly think that when it gets to tier 6, one of my clan members, Wallfacer, was saying it should ghost you, right? So it should do what you do on the opposite side of the map or something like that, and that would be awesome in my opinion. Anyway, the second skill I'm rocking with is the jammer pulse, because remember, when you're running with a shotgun and you want to be up close and personal, status effects are your weakness. So you want to jam as many skills as you can so that you won't have to really worry about that as much. This is a great skill to use when you have one skill tier or no skill tiers, because the cooldown is only 23 seconds, and that's really good for skills considering how high the cooldowns are. And yo, that's it for the build, man. I'm so glad they brought this new brand set in. It's called Walker Harris & Company. It's pretty much a brand set that caters to DPS builds, and it's really great. This build is going to take a little bit of work to get going. I mean, you got to kill all the hunters if you haven't. If you want this perfect intimidate, that's what you got to do. And it's going to make you feel better about not having versatile in your backpack, because Hunter Killer does it for you and even more. So I highly suggest that you run this build. It's going to be well worth the farm. Trust me. If this video helped you out in any way, then I'd appreciate it if you drop a like and subscribe to my channel if you're new. I drop dedicated division content, fresh builds, and I think you'll love it here. So until I see you in my next video, be right out.